Remarkably Bright Creatures is the latest big movie on Netflix, and interest in the film has led to much speculation about books that capture the same warm tones and feelings. Remarkably Bright Creatures' strong cast did a tremendous job creating a cozy character drama that took some surprising turns against the idyllic fictional backdrop of Soul Bay, Washington. Following the ending of Remarkably Bright Creatures, many were left wanting more. Certainly, the story wrapped up satisfyingly, and even created a hopeful and curious future for many of its characters to continue off the page and screen. And there are so many other stories like it that craft similar worlds and tones, with comparable ideas and characters. Much of what works about Remarkably Bright Creatures is in the film's atmosphere. While some of the film's ideas and locations might fit in well in a Hallmark movie, it is with rich characterization and a thoughtful story that the film elevates itself. With all of this in mind, it is worth looking into other stories like it. Even though there are some changes from the Remarkably Bright Creatures book, the film is faithful to the tone and texture of Shelby Van Pelt's 2022 novel. The depictions of Tova, Cameron, and Marcellus alike felt honest and real, lending much credibility to the film's overall story. However, there are many other great works of fiction that are surprisingly similar. Project Hail Mary. One of the most popular entries on this list, the box office hit Project Hail Mary is a strong film as well as a heartwarming novel. Depicting the relationship between two disparate types with a common goal, Rocky and Grace have a surprising lot in common with Tova and Cameron. More than that, the similarities extend to the makeup of certain characters themselves. Rocky, like Marcellus, is not human. Seeing his interactions with Grace and understanding his outlook, coming from the planet Arid, helps to make Project Hail Mary such an entertaining read. Both enormous bestsellers, Project Hail Mary had to make this list. However, there are plenty of other novels that are just as impactful, if not more so, that aren't receiving nearly as much discussion today. A Man Called Ove. Perhaps the most like Remarkably Bright Creatures, Fredrik Backman's A Man Called Ove tells the story of its titular character, a prickly old man who finds new joy after finally choosing to embrace his community. While Ove is a far more difficult character than Tova, there is much that the two share. Each has difficulties opening up to the world around them, and each is experiencing the complexities of loss as they age. Seeing the world reflected through their eyes allows for a satisfying transformation for each. Like Creatures, Ove has also already been adapted for the screen. First with a Swedish adaptation in 2015, then with the Tom Hanks-led A Man Called Otto in 2022. Both are strong adaptations worth seeking out after reading the novel. The Flat Share. Beth O'Leary's The Flat Share is a light and frothy romance with an excellent and unique structure. Told in notes shared between the two protagonists, Tiffy and Leon develop feelings for one another after sharing the same apartment and bed at different times. Yes, to reduce living costs, the two characters, who have never met, swap in and out of the same bed in London. One works nights while the other works days, and their only interaction is through these notes. Seeing this abstracted human relationship come to fruition is part of the book's incredible charm. Sweet, comforting, and very human, there is a surprising amount of mood shared between this novel and Remarkably Bright Creatures. If looking for a more romantic novel, it would be an excellent choice for the next read. Heart the Lover. Heart the Lover is Lily King's most recent, and arguably strongest, novel, which tells a great story about young love and its complexities. Chronicling the story of Jordan and her romances with two men in the 1980s, the book does a great job of exploring relationships. Sometimes the book is quite intense, but what it always does is capture the feelings and passions that are so wrapped up in youth. Seeing how this materializes in a love triangle provides excellent and thought-provoking insight. Not always uplifting, what Heart the Lover shares with Creatures can be found in the complexity of its characters, as well as its accessible prose. The novel also explores both youth and looking back on it, similar to Tova's journey of discovery concerning her son Eric. The God of the Woods. The God of the Woods is a strong and dramatic book by Liz Moore. The novel tells the story of Barbara Van Laar disappearing from her summer camp in 1975, 14 years after her brother went missing the same way. Certainly a more tense experience than Remarkably Bright Creatures, Moore's novel also brings rich literary sensibilities to its writing. Well crafted, with some insightful thoughts on class and the unveiling of the past, God of the Woods remains one of the best books of 2024. For those who loved Van Pelt's novel but wanted a greater focus on Eric's disappearance, this would be the perfect choice for the next read. The House in the Cerulean Sea. T.J. Klune's The House in the Cerulean Sea brings some fantasy texture and trappings to another story about community and kindness. The novel sees Linus Baker on a mission to assess a sextet of magical children, including the Antichrist. Silly and strange, rather than finding great danger, as was expected, Linus' journey sees him discovering disparate characters that essentially make up a found family. With great tenderness and warmth, the novel is a very strong effort, and is extremely comforting. Like in Remarkably Bright Creatures, there is a great focus here on community and found family. The Nightingale. A strong, dramatic novel with a great period setting during World War II, The Nightingale is a book about two sisters fighting for survival. Highlighting the strength of women, this empowering novel has incredibly well fleshed out characters that immediately connect with readers. An examination of courage against adversity, there is much to appreciate in this Kristen Hanna novel. The Nightingale is set to be